In the land of Mordor, where the shadows lie. It was here, on the slopes of Mount Doom, that the Dark Lord Sauron was defeated by a last alliance of men and elves. It is here that for 2,500 years the Rangers of Gondor stood watch, guarding against a nameless threat they had all but forgotten. And while the strength of Gondor faded, the power and malice of Sauron grew in darkness. He has returned to Mordor. Shadow and flame have fallen on the Black Gate, and no mortal man can stand in its path.
You're it! Dear Iron! Almost. That is a perfect swing for killing chicken. Wouldn't want to hurt you. It'll take a lot more than that. Dear Hyle, the mighty chicken killer. Come on. Come on. Show your father what you have, huh?
You'll have to hit harder if you want to best your father.
Hard enough?
Parry, son. Don't forget to block.
Perhaps you should not forget to hit.
Stay alert, dear Haya. Your enemy will not always be as he appears.
Easy, son. You're not a soldier yet.
I'll have your guts!
I'm all right! My blade shall rest in your throat!
Dear Haya, remember your training!
Father, they charge faster than I can strike!
Stand fast, dear Haya!
Push him down!
Their deaths are far from swift, Father!
Remember, son, lunge deep and cut deeper!
These orcs are much stronger than any we've ever seen.
They're not orcs, they're Uruks. They're far worse. There's too many. Go find your mother. Go find your mother. Keep her safe. I'll be right behind you. Go. Am I dead?
You are banished from death.
person.
Happy anniversary, my love.
Talion, this is beautiful. Where did you find it?
I still have a few friends left in Gondor.
Did you talk to my father?
Yes, I did. And nothing has changed. He's still very stubborn.
I say we go anyway.
Dear High will not come willingly.
There must be a better life than this.
Not now. But soon.
I'm just so tired of hiding here, Talion.
Shh. We must hide now, or we are both dead. Come on.
We should have left when we had the chance.
Don't move. I'll clear a path. I'm outnumbered. Stealth was my only advantage.
Dead talk.
Put the sword down, Ranger. The Black Hand wants him alive! Take her! He will live.
Father! I'm right here, son. I'm right here.
Shirkush Adhazushu. Kantya Pakuriza. Nakiza.
Yorith. Yorith.
We'll be together, my love. Soon. Forever.
Gurarmo Shirkush Adhazushu. Kantya Pakurizak. Gulna Nakizak. Gurarmo Shirkush Adhazushu. Kantya Pakurizak. Gulna Nakizak. Come back to me, Elf Lord.
What is this place?
See for yourself.
Mordor.
Now, do you believe me, Ranger?
What has happened to me?
You are banished from death. Cast adrift between the worlds of light and dark. Curse binds us together within the walls of Ardar.
If what you say is true, then how do we break this curse?
We find the one who cast it on us. The Black Hand of Sauron.
This looks familiar.
Talion killed a nobleman, Yorith. that the beginning is done. Hello YouTube. I'm new to doing the commentary side. I normally like to keep to myself.
So, we missed one of you
And
with narcos,
now that I'm done with
eh?
the tutorial,
An easy mistake to fix.
I can talk a little, so I'm not talking over the dialogue. I'm playing games for about probably about 25 years. I like give or take a bit. Probably going to talk about story time, like with what I've done with my life, how I got where I am now. Honestly, one of the biggest things that have changed with me right now is I'm not in the military anymore. I was in the United States Army 2011 through 2016.
Go back to him.
I technically didn't get out on my own accord. I unfortunately got med-boarded. I was planning on honestly staying in
What do you know
20 years because my first one in, wasn't bad. And
He's a fiend.
I picked up sergeant.
What more?
And I want to say it was
Slave I had.
2 years, 9 months in the service. I was sergeant. So things are going well for me. I was honestly picking up rank really fast. So some people get out because they're stuck as an E4 specialist or a corporal and they can't pick up because points are too high, but my points are fairly high. I believe I picked up at about 600 points, so
That is where we have to go.
I was doing stuff to better myself to
If one can trust an orc.
Trust has nothing
try
to
to
do
promote
with it.
quick, so that I don't
His thoughts cannot lie.
have to do all the meaningless petty tasks that they have, lower enlisted to do. I still did those, obviously, but it wasn't that much in abundance. And you can honestly
The world
do a
has
lot
changed.
more when you hit
Nothing
sergeant. You
makes
don't have to.
sense.
Nothing
You still
has
have to
changed. This is how it will be.
get with your
The future and the past are linked. in
section leader,
darkness.
platoon sergeant, or somebody when you have stuff to do. But
And I can't remember.
you normally get a little more
Let's
free
go
will
find
to
the slaver. His mind may
to do
provide
things.
answers.
But back to how and why I got out. So I was on staff duty it was October, and just so happened that it was my birthday when I was on staff duty, and that evening I just wasn't feeling good that evening, honestly. I was having problems with my stomach and my guts prior to this, but not as serious as this. I ended up waiting till PT in the morning when the command sergeant major came in. Told her I wasn't feeling good, and I told her I needed to go to sick call. So I ended up going to sick call, and at this point, I was on Fort Hood for about, I want to say, probably about 2.5 years, and I was with another unit prior to this, and I tried to get stationed somewhere else. I was trying to get Fort Bragg, but my branch manager obviously didn't like me, and he just interpost transferred me from one side of the installation to the other, and I was on Fort Hood, so it's hard to get out of Fort Hood.
Well, this doesn't bode well.
So after Sergeant Major came in,
The prisoner
I
created
told her,
a distraction.
I had diarrhea the whole night, I was vomiting, I just didn't feel right. And throughout the night I was doing
Use your human sight to track the
my
evil.
checks,
I see more than any mortal.
checking the companies, the barracks where the soldiers live, because
Slay
you're
the
supposed
captain.
to
Cut
do
off
that.
the head of the snake,
It's
and the
24-hour
body will
duty.
wither.
Normally can be longer
Archers.
depending on if they're
I
trying to
must
find a
take out the
replacement
eyes
or
of the camp.
if someone else is running late.
I heard the slave begging for mercy.
But
Begging you for his life.
I
One more run.
told her I wasn't feeling good, and I asked her if I can go to sick call, and she said I could. Found a replacement, and I went. And after you're on staff duty, you get the next day off because you pull a 24-hour duty. So I knew I was going to be off, and so I get to my staff duty,
Another
and
schlock that needs to
they,
be put back in his place.
or my battalion aid station, because normally they send you there before they send you to the hospital or the TMC, which is Troop Medical Clinic, because sometimes you can be treated at the lower level before, something, they're not going to send someone, for, I don't know, like the flu. They're not going to send you to, the hospital for that, because you could, you might have a captain or somebody at the battalion aid station, and, they can better deal with that, because a lot of people end up going to the troop medical clinic, say if they break an ankle or something, it's for stuff that isn't so, I guess, acute or detrimental. So I go there, and at this point, I've had food poisoning before, so I went to the shopette, which is typically a gas station, in civilian terms, but we
Won't work.
ended up, well, I went there because my runner stayed at the desk while I was doing my checks or going, to get something to eat, and I let him do the same thing. I let him sleep and take naps because it's not, I just wasn't one of those people that was an asshole. So I went and got something to eat, and just so happens after I got done eating, because I went there a couple times during the night, and so naturally I thought that I got food poisoning. So my aid station sent me to the troop medical clinic. I get there and I see this captain, and he's a
So
douchebag.
you didn't die 10 years ago.
I take it you did not come here to
I already
arrest
knew I
me
was going to
for
be off for
treason?
the day, so I wasn't trying to
Captain?
have him give me a
You and I
band-aid
are
for the
all that
issue.
remains of that garrison here.
I was trying to,
Then why did you come here?
Looking for a
figure out
slave
what was
that fed
actually
the
wrong
Black
with me,
Hand of
because he was
Sauron.
just trying to give me Tylenol,
Well, I ran away from
ibuprofen,
him.
and stuff, and
You know this
send me
man.
home.
Of course.
And
You're
that's
staring
typically
at
what
him.
they try to do. So when you see memes
Where
or
are the
jokes and
servants of the
everything
Dark
about that with
Lord?
the military,
Do you even know?
yeah, that's what they try to do.
Perhaps.
So
This is no time to keep secrets.
I was at
I have been
the
stuck here
TMC
for
Troop Medical
weeks.
Clinic, and I was
Steady.
still vomiting,
Come to
having
the outcast
diarrhea,
camp.
and at this point,
Shall ask my
it's
scouts.
about
I'll be there.
8:30, 9 o'clock. So I've been doing it for about 8.5, 9 hours, and this guy still wanted to send me home. And even if he did send me home, regardless, I
Just another
would have still
orc.
went to the emergency room or the in the
Monsters.
hospital, because I knew that this was either food poisoning or something worse. And unfortunately, it ended up being the latter, which is something more serious. So he finally lets me go, and I am sent there by ambulance because I couldn't drive because I was having severe pain in my abdomen. And normally when you leave from the TMC or Troop Medical Clinic and go to the hospital, they normally, call the hospital ahead of time so you don't have to sit in the waiting area. Well, this is Fort Hood, and they just kind of don't give a shit.
I thought I...
So, they called and they're like, yep, we'll have something ready for him when he gets here, and I ended up waiting, which was awesome, because at that point, I wasn't seen till about almost noon, and at that point I was still throwing up and having diarrhea.
You hear that?
And
Thank goodness.
I'm finally seen,
Now's our best chance.
and they started IV, give me meds and everything, and after I give them the history of what happened during the evening and everything, they decided to order a CT scan.
He was a useless schrock.
So I drink the solution or whatever it is within the hour, and after the hour they they take a image of your stomach or wherever it is that they're supposed to be doing a scan. In my case, it was my abdomen. So I get the test done, and then some fucked up happens. So the doctor comes back in with a priest or chaplain, however you want to interpret it, and he told me I'm going to have emergency surgery because I had a rare condition that was called intussusception. So my intestines basically telescoped over themselves, and they, if not treated, they could come out of your stomach essentially. So at that point I was just I guess kind of in a state of shock, because he brought the priest, and at that point I've had surgeries in the past, but nothing that was, I guess, considered life-threatening.
Why
So
not just lie down and die?
I told him no. I don't want to talk to chaplain, right now, because I'm just trying to, digest everything. And he tells me, we're going to get you a bed upstairs, so you can go and, wait for the night or whatnot, so you can, prep to have your surgery. So
Your time is over. Nothing lives which meets
am up there at
my
night. My
black
chain of
blade.
command comes about 8 o'clock because they
Smash his bones!
tend to do that, you know, when you're, like, when something unexpected or, you know, like, I guess, like, something, like, life-threatening, you know, happens, you know, they tend to go see
Enough
their
with the bloody edge!
soldiers that are under them.
Get behind him!
So, they come see me, and, you know, they ask, like, what's going on. I tell them, and they're like,
Stand aside!
they know how this happened. I was like, not an idea. So, my, when I was born, I was a twin. I was a second born. I was smaller than my sister. So, normally, this kind of thing happens with, you know, how do I put it?
Hit him where it counts!
Like when you're an infant, or could happen when you're like a twin or something, but it normally happens when, you know, when you're a baby. So it's very rare for an adult for it to happen. Extremely rare. And so I
If he puts his hands on you, it's too late! Enough playing!
you know, tell him, I was like, you know, can you give at least any insight on, you know, if, like, you can fix it or anything? And they're like, yeah, you know, normally they can. So they, in the morning, they come check on me because they wait till the morning. They see me pain meds, and I don't know why they waited. But I go into surgery, and they find the part where it's telescoped, and before he or a nurse or assistant, whoever they have in the operating room, before they could clamp it, it re-telescoped back. And so basically the surgery was done, but it was successful because I didn't die, but it wasn't, the issue wasn't done essentially. It wasn't fixed. So fast forward to March. At this point, I'm going to the hospital regularly to see my GI doctor, which is gastroenterology. I go to that clinic, and normally when you have a surgery or something, at some point in time, you'll continue going back to the hospital because you have to you have to be seen by that person. Like, say if, like, you had surgery on, you know, your head or something, you'd go see, like, neurology and stuff. So I continued to go there, and they recommend I get a colonoscopy and endoscopy, you know, see if they can figure out some stuff, find some stuff wrong. So in March I had a colonoscopy, and I had an endoscopy as well. So that was a miserable night too with the prep. Like, colonoscopies are terrible. But I
Ranger, come
ended up
close if you want the backhand.
having my procedure done,
Those slaves scum
and
are pouring poison in your
cut out a
ear.
few polyps in my colon,
You cut these
and
ropes.
then he
Rat
went
bag will
in my
tell you
stomach and
everything.
cut out some more polyps
Now, what would you know?
and
all
ulcers
these
they
other
found on my
dead
stomach, and then he
orcs
went down to my intestines as
Go
far as he
ahead,
could
you
go,
bastard!
and
Do it!
he
I'll die.
cut out
You'll
some
know
more.
nothing.
He cut out the stuff in my stomach
Maybe I'll grant
first,
your request.
and then he moved his way into the
In your
intestines. And when he cut out the stuff, normally they check to see if it's bleeding,
Look,
and
those slaves
chiefs are no
he didn't.
match for the orc army.
So
Their schemes as rotten as barrelfish.
he went down and took out the stuff out of my intestines, but then when you were pulling the scope out,
Ratbag can make your plan work.
you could clearly see on the camera that I was bleeding from that spot, but he didn't do anything about it. And so
Going to find out.
after that, it was probably about, I don't know, 30 minutes. He decides to. Then I go home. I can't go to work that day because obviously I'm under anesthesia, and the next day I don't go because it's still in my system. So I get a phone call the next morning, and now it's my mom's birthday, and GI clinic called me about 8 in the morning, seeing if everything went well. Typically they do that, and I told him at that point, you know, I was feeling like crap, but you know, that's normal. So I told him it was fine. Probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours later, I go to the bathroom, and
You can find them.
my stool is black and tarry, and the number one cause of that is internal bleeding. So I call the GI clinic back, tell them, you know, that stuff, and they're like,
Do not
yeah,
make me
go to the
regret
ER,
this day.
we'll let them know. I go to the ER, and they let them know. Again, I'm waiting in the lobby. So I'm finally seen, and they get the doc to come and see me because I'm in a room again, and they ask me some questions like, what have you done, you know, that could possibly cause this? Like, did you take any Pepto-Bismol and stuff? I was like, no. I told them I had an endoscopy, and they cut some stuff out of my stomach the day prior and whatnot. So they took labs. Labs came back normal. And I was told by somebody, since the blood's still in my system, it'd come back normal. So he didn't want to admit me, because then, you know, that could possibly have repercussions on the person that did the procedure if it was found out that they did. So I had to beg and plead, you know, just to stay for the night.
To step hard on his neck.
And
How did you get free, scum?
he finally agreed. So again, I go upstairs. Same floor. And he is like,
And face me, Urux.
my chain of command comes in about 8 o'clock. And they're like, why does stuff keep happening here? I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, what are they going to do? I'm like, I guess they're just going to monitor me for the night and see, you know, what happens. Kind of what I got the gist of. And so they left and told me to keep them updated. So probably about, I want to say, it's about 10 o'clock at night. And I, at this point, was feeling like absolute dog shit. And
all these corpses is Gorov.
I get out of bed, and I try to, I walk to the door. By the time I'm opening it, the nurse opens it, and I couldn't get any words to come out because I was like dizzy. My vision was blurred. Only thing I did, I threw up blood all over her. Looked like something out of a fucking horror movie. And I pass out. I wake up 3 days later in the ICU.
And let me guess, you think I should open those pens?
Tube down my throat. I had one of those things in my nose that went down my throat. And
that explains the
I
Keep out of sight.
trying to figure out what happened, and apparently they had to give me blood transfusions, and
you kill
I
that's military genius, that is.
the same doctor that messed up I guess went in there and fixed it.
With
And
anticipation.
they put clips and everything in my stomach on the part that was bleeding. And nobody told my wife, so my wife called my parents because, you know, she's freaking out. She ain't heard from me in, at this point, it'd be 4 days. And my parents call, and, you know, they're not going to tell me anything because HIPAA. But they eventually did because, you know, my parents gave them the information, like, you know, from, you know, me, like, everything, like, they gave my social security number, date of birth, like, everything. And, so they eventually, you know, tell them that, you know, I had a procedure, I was in the ICU. I ended up being in the ICU, I think, for like, I want to say 6 days total. And after that, like, my body never really fully recovered. I tried to stay in the service, but I was consistently losing weight, and by the time I got out, I was really underweight. I was 6 foot tall, and I weighed 127 pounds. Almost all foods were bothering me except chicken and rice. So for a year they tried to, I was on profile, and oh fuck, if I would have read that shit, I would have known that. It said fucking search step going through the whole camp, slaughtering everybody before an alarm goes off. Well, fuck. Okay. My bad. So I ended up going to see specialist doctors, even outside of the military. They sent me to civilian providers. I went to like 3 doctors. I took a pill cam, see if they could see anything. I took other tests like celiac test. I took pill cam, yeah, blood tests, and all this stuff. And for some reason, everything came out negative. And I ended up being on that for a year. Very limited duty since I was underweight and everything. I couldn't really do anything. And that was my second procedure in 6 months.
He's always by the hunting
and I had another procedure after that.
In the hunting
and
camp.
then they
So much for
decided
him
that
always being in the same
at that
place.
point, since my body wasn't recovering, I had to get
Captain
out.
who fears his own beast.
Here
And
is a powerful tool, Talion.
I didn't,
Let's put Goroths to work.
I'm not gonna say I coped with that too well. It was a hard time, but eventually in June of 2016 I did end up being, ultimately I was retired medically through a med board. You go through that process for them to figure out if normally when people have stuff that's wrong with them, they try to fix them if they can't. They get out medically before their contract is up, because you're bound by that contract no matter what, unless in this case you get killed or injured and they can't, you know, fix you. Because if they just let anybody out, so I mean, other people do get out in other cases by court-martial or bad conduct discharges, or if they go to jail. It just depends. But if you're getting out honorably, as in my case, normally you go to a med board. I honestly really think that's the only way to get out. Besides just having your besides serving your contract out, I don't know of really any other way to get out other than being med boarded that's honorably. I think that's really the only way. So at that point, I think I was in for about, I want to say about 5.5 years. My dad served in the military, so, and he retired after 26 years. So, you know, I ultimately wanted to, you know, do the same thing. And fortunately, I mean, it didn't happen, but I mean, it's life. You take what comes at you. I was really bitter before about it, but now I'm not really bitter. It's okay. But yeah, that's the story why I got out. Now I'm gonna, I guess, finish off this asshole in this video, as this was my first commentary. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you could just leave a comment, you know, tell me if you enjoyed it, if you want more stories, or if I just straight up suck. You know, it's just something new I'm trying out because I have a love for playing video games, and if I can get, you know, if I can help somebody out with knowledge that I have, you know, just ask. You know, maybe I might know an answer. You know, if you need help with the military, you know, just ask. You know, maybe I might know something.
You two.
I'm just here playing games and
I need you to take a body back to my
just trying to enjoy my life the best I can right now.
Get lost, scum.
But yeah, I'll try to post videos more often.
That's the filthy corpse I need
I
you
don't know if they're going to be as long as this. I guess it depends on the story or the gameplay you guys want. If you guys just want gameplay and no commentary, you know, just let me know.
Respectful, you dunghill
But yeah,
worms. Or it'll be your
I appreciate
next time.
all the comments and the views that you give. And talk to you guys later. Bye.
Yeah, and when you're done with that, I've got more bodies for you to carry. Meet me at the crossroads. An old friend there is about to lose his head.
First I'm resurrected by a wraith, now